And hello, everyone, and welcome to Rich Sports Talk. Thank you so much for joining us here today on a very special episode as we go over one of my favorite topics in all sports, uniforms. Look, I'm a jersey nerd. I absolutely love jerseys. I don't care the sport, but particularly NHL. I'm a huge NHL fan. And one of my favorite programs is the Reverse Retro, which was just released. I'm going to go over all 32 uniforms, my thoughts, my grades, what I like about them and what I don't like about them. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on how I'm going to be grading this. The thing I look for that I also give praise is teams being aggressive, teams thinking outside the box, and also teams taking a risk, trying to sanitize jerseys that have historically been a punching line. We saw that with the Mighty Ducks a couple of years ago when they brought back the Wild Wing jersey in this program. So I like teams acknowledging their past. I'm not the biggest fan of teams just changing out the colors to former franchises, but we'll get into all that. We are going in it. We are getting right after it, all 32 teams. And we are starting, of course, at the very top with the Mighty Ducks. So, Mighty Ducks are coming out with a white jersey with the classic 90s crest orange look. If I'm honest, I'm not really a big fan. Now, I don't know the particulars of the reverse retro for Anaheim. I can only speculate, but I get the feeling that they can't get the proper licensing to all of the previous Mighty Ducks jerseys where they had basically, I want to see the eggplant, I want to see, the green, but it looks like for whatever reason, the Ducks aren't going to do that. So for me, look, I love the Mighty Ducks logo. I think it's one of the best logos in hockey. But if I'm going to be fair, I got to give this a D. Look, I think it's a decent logo. I think that could they've maybe gone back with the shoulder yoke that they were using at the time, which was the circular duck head. That could have maybe worked a little bit better, but I love the logo. I think the logo is the reason I keep it from being an F, but it feels like the Ducks are always in this weird place where they want to be their own identity away from the Mighty Ducks, yet they keep going back to the Ducks because they know that's the most popular brand. Look, I think that this should be their logo full time. Like this to me should be their normal jersey, not necessarily the reverse retro. Look, I understand that it is a logo that everyone loves to see on the ice, but for me personally, I just feel like they could have done a little bit better. The next one is the Arizona Coyotes. I actually have a kind of a theory on this one, and I might be a little bit out of the box, but I feel like part of the reason for this choice was their current situation. For those of you who don't know, they're playing at Mullet Arena, which is the home for the Arizona State University Sun Devils in college hockey. They just opened it. So they're playing in that 5,000 seat arena, and the Sun Devils have that orange and yellow coloring. So this coloring almost kind of reminds me just a little bit of the Arizona State. Now, it's not exact, but similar. But I really love the colors. This takes inspiration from their 90s green jersey where they had the cactus on the bottom. They've mixed it up. And the Coyotes, to me, have had two of the strongest reverse retro jerseys. They brought back the purple 2 years ago. I thought the purple was really nice, but this really fits the desert. It's different. And this, to me, encapsulates all about the reverse retro. You want to have a hint of nostalgia, but you also want to push it forward. And really, I love this color for the Coyotes. I got to give this an A. I love this color, and this is a color that's really unique for hockey. This kind of desert sand orange. Look, I really love it. I think this is a great jersey, and I think it's one of the best ones in the entire program. So I have to tip my cap to the Arizona Coyotes for a job well done. Next, this will be slightly controversial because this is a jersey. There'll be a couple on this list. But the Boston Bruins, what's so-called their Pooh jersey, was their 90s jersey. And a little bit of a fun fact, for you that didn't know, this was part of the third jersey program in the 90s. This was actually worn in the first ever third jersey game. If for those of you who didn't know, this was basically the same design, but was a yellow jersey back then. Now they're going with a white jersey. I like what the Bruins are doing with the logo. But the problem I have with this jersey, and I do like it, is I think one of the reasons this jersey was really hated was the shoulder yokes. You can kind of see it up there, but it had Bruins inscript across the yoke, and it had this weird design pattern. I thought that the best way for this jersey to work was to clean it up, have the Bear logo, but change the shoulder yokes, change the arm sleeves, and get rid of that Bruins side logo. I mean, it's so easy. They could have thrown a different type of B. I think a good version of the B could have been the all yellow B inside the shoulder yoke, or it could have even been to stick with the brown theme, maybe do a brown B with yellow accents as opposed to the black B. I think that they're in the right direction. I do like this jersey. I think it's a solid jersey, but I think there's a little bit too much noise with the shoulders. And really, what keeps it being an A for me is this just is like a copy paste jersey, but they changed out the color. They changed it from yellow to white. So if they had done more detail on the shoulders, if they gotten rid of that distracting pattern in the Bruins on the shoulder yoke and the script, I actually think this could be a really good jersey. And it just feels incomplete to me. It's like almost there. It's almost at the finish line, but it's just not getting there. So that's why I have to hold it, unfortunately, at a B. Buffalo. Now, this is an intriguing one because Buffalo is bringing back the goat head logo, which you see here in the classic 90s jersey. They're actually going to wear 5 jerseys this year. They're going to have the black and red jersey. We haven't officially seen that. They've teased it. So I do like that they're going back to this logo. They did it a bit last year. I would have maybe liked to see this on like a yellow jersey, just a different color. Now, I do like this jersey, like the logo with the blue and the yellow. I do think that's sharp, but I almost feel like they could have done like a yellow jersey that could have really popped. I do like the old classic. They did the saber, the 2 crossing sabers for the last reverse retro, which was a good choice as well. But it almost feels like a slightly not disappointing, but they're bringing back the classic jersey of this logo this year. It felt like maybe they could have tweaked it a little bit. Now, I know I might be in the minority here, but I know the Buffalo Slug logo in the mid 2000s was hated. I'm wondering if they could maybe tweak that logo in some fashion to make it more desirable and pay homage to that era of Sabres hockey, especially when you're going to bring back this logo on another jersey. So, look, I love the colors. I love the logo. I was flirting between a B and a C, but look, I just love this logo, so I have to give it a B. But overall, I feel like it's like the Bruins. I feel like it could just be a little bit more, and it's just missing a few elements from really taking it over the top. But again, guys, if you're joining us during the live stream or after the live stream, put your comments below and let us know what your favorite reverse retro jerseys are this year. So the next one, Calgary. Now, Calgary is an intriguing one because I love the classical design. We saw this in the late 80s, early 2000s with the stripes coming up. I do love it. Now, again, I think the colors could have been better where they're bringing back the Blasty third jersey. That's the one with the horse head. I like that alternate, but they're going to now have 2 black jerseys this year. I would have liked to see maybe a different color, a yellow jersey with this white flame could have looked really cool. Like instead doing the black, doing a yellow, I think with the red accents, that could have really popped, especially if you had the red and black accents. That could have looked really cool, been really kind of different because I do like how they've gone back to the traditional red jerseys. But for me, this could have been an opportunity just to include some different colors. Look, I think it could have been better. And unfortunately, I got to give this a D because they're already doing a black jersey this year with the Blasty uniform. And kind of like with Buffalo, it just seems redundant. And I feel like this jersey could be so much better. Like there's so much potential, but it could be so much better. Now, the Hurricanes is intriguing. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Hartford Whaler fan. I love the Whalers jersey. And yes, they are wearing the green Whalers jerseys for one game this year. I was getting nervous because I did see some renderings which had the Whalers logo on the red and black. That is sacrilegious. That cannot happen. So that kind of leaves Carolina in a weird place. Now, Carolina is like a lot of teams where they're not only bringing a reverse retro, but they're bringing back a classic uniform. They already brought back the red jersey that they'll wear 12 times this year for basically Heritage Night for their anniversary. So they were kind of limited. They didn't want to do the circle logo again. They already have the storm flags on the black jerseys. But this just, it's so boring. Like, look, I get it. Like the thing though, I have almost a world hockey. Unless you're the New York Rangers, I don't want to see diagonal script across the chest. This to me is just feels like copy and pasted. I hate those Colorado uniforms from years ago. And the other thing too is I know the Hurricanes were limited, but this is just basically changing the color of almost their road jerseys, which I themselves think leave a lot to be desired. So personally, I think with the reverse retro, I don't think you can go wrong with the Whalers. Maybe do like the Pucky the Whale logo instead of the WH logo if you want to go that route. The Whalers also have their 90s jerseys where they have the silver accents and the navy blue. That could have been something different. So I feel like the Canes had some opportunities, but they didn't follow through with them. Chicago. Chicago's a funny one because Chicago follows a theme in this program that I did not like this year. So I'll talk about it now so I don't have to keep talking about it. But there was a lot of teams in this program that basically either shared too similar of designs or they shared colors from one previous franchise. And look, if you're going to do it for one team, because this is a league-like project, you kind of can't let the other team do it or the next time that they have dibs on those colors. With that being said, Chicago has a similar uniform to another team. We'll get to it, but I do think it's not the worst of the bunch. I think they're trying to do the Chicago script like on the Chicago theater. They're trying to bring back the black and red patterns that we've seen in some of the 1930s jerseys. Look, maybe it's just because I'm a sucker for their Winter Classic with that heritage jersey look. Like, I love that jersey. I'd like to see a remake of that logo. And I get maybe Chicago doesn't want to use that Black Hawk logo like for some of these reverse retros. But I just feel like this was an opportunity to really do better. And look, this is almost a copy and paste. So I have to give this an F because it shares too much to another jersey, which I will get to in a bit. And I feel like it could be so much better. Now we get to the Avalanche. So a lot of people really love this jersey. And I'm actually going to be a little bit negative about this. Now, I do love the Colorado colors, and it makes sense because it's the state flag. But this almost feels like it should have been done on the first one, or it should have been done for years. I mean, we're starting to see the Avalanche incorporate the C logo that you see on the chest here as like their shoulder yokes and more involved in the logo. So I do like that they utilize the colors, but I have to give this might be controversial, but I have to give this a D because it shares colors with another team on this list, which we will get to. And because of that, I can't give it higher. If they didn't have that, I'd give this a B. I think it's not breaking the mold, but it's a solid uniform. It's different than their normal color palette. It looks nice. They've already done the Quebec Nordiques. So I don't think they wanted to go back down that road again. But an interesting thought is the Nordiques had like a Timberwolf logo that was never used. I kind of wonder if some of these teams could maybe go back in the archives and use some logos that haven't been used. I think that could be fun. But overall, I think this should be a B, but because of another team on this list, I gotta give a D because I want to see these jerseys stick out and be different. It feels like some of these were copy and paste, and when we get to it, we will get to it. Columbus is next. Columbus is a funny one because I do like their jersey because you can't really see it, but down the side they do have the star pattern, which I think is great. The problem I have is while people could say they should have gone with the baby blue, a lot of teams want the baby blue colors. So I do think the team was at least being differential. They didn't want to use the red. The logo is just the same logo that they used, though, which is really to me disappointing because they have the original Blue Jacket logo. They have the Bumblebee Blue Jacket logo from back in the day. They even have the Canon logo that was popular. And I feel like any of those three could have been fun. And I really think the Bumblebee logo, I get it's not a popular one, but we've seen them bringing back these like 90s, early 2000s cartoon type of logos to great success and tweaking them and paying homage to them. So because they didn't do that, I got to give this a D. I think it's a solid jersey, but I think there is so much more to be desired here, and they didn't embrace this program. They didn't embrace what makes this program great, which is embracing your past, even if it's not great. I understand that a lot of teams don't like some of the decisions that they made in the past with their logos, but I do think the part of the program is to have fun with that. Dallas is another jersey where the pieces are there. I love the colors and I love that they went back to their original logo. But what's keeping this for me being an A is they should have done what they originally did with the original Stars uniforms, which was the bottom of the jersey was formatted to look like the star. If they had done that, I think this jersey would have been an A. So the way it is great. Look, they're never going to bring back the Constellation, aka the Mooterist jersey, because of for obvious reasons. So that's off the table. It's nice to see this logo being used. I think it's better than the last reverse retro, which had the silver on the white, which you couldn't see. Here on the black, it really pops. I know that they're trying to stay away from using the gold accents a little bit. But if they had just done that simple shape on the bottom hem of the jersey, I really think this could have been A. But overall, still a very good jersey. So this gets into the Chicago territory. And look, Detroit did technically wear this jersey. It was red and black. They were wearing this in the 1930s. So this does pay deep tribute to their history. But the problem is because Chicago has done this, and look, I got to give Detroit, I'm giving Detroit a D. I can't give them an F because they at least tried this time, or last time they basically just did their jerseys, but with silver instead of red. So I got to give Detroit at least a participation bump, but it just feels like this one, if they maybe done with the cream color instead, just to not look exactly kind of like the Chicago uniforms, just to really separate, I think that would have been a lot better. If they had maybe done just a giant D on the chest, or maybe done like that, the accented D that they used for the Winter Classic in 2008, I think that could have set this jersey apart. But overall, I think I got to give them some credit for, I guess, trying. But overall, I'm giving them a D on that. Now this is one of my favorite aspects. Like, I've loved the Todd McFarlane logo. Spawn artist came up with the logo, and basically this to me is what the reverse retro program is about. I have to give this an A. It's combining an old logo that people wanted to see again and tweaking it. You see they've added the orange oil drop to the sprocket, which wasn't there, and they took the jersey and tweaked it. It used to be just the navy blue with the silver accents, no orange. Instead of the silver, you have the orange accents. This jersey really pops. I think this is going to be a really well-received jersey, and maybe could even make the case to eventually be an alternate for the Oilers. Look, I've always loved the Spawn jerseys. I thought that they were underrated and gave the Oilers a really unique look. And it's nice to see that the Oilers, to complement this, are going back to the royal blue home uniform. So this will be a nice contrast, really differentiates. And this is what I love about this program. And this is the best, taking an old uniform that people wanted to see and tweaking it to give you something new. So Oilers completely embrace the program. I have to give them an A. Well done, Edmonton. Also, again, I have to give an A to the Florida Panthers. Now, tell me if I'm wrong. Does this remind anyone else of the Minnesota Waves jerseys from the Mighty Ducks movies, D2? I mean, just the baby blue, the red shoulders, and the yellow coloring. I know it's a secondary logo that they're using for the crest, which I think is fine. But look, this just screams to me South Florida. The color screams South Florida. It's different. And I know they tried to do a baby blue jersey years ago, but the problem with that one is they did it with a lot of cream and navy blue instead of the yellow and the red. The yellow and red really differentiate this. They really make the jersey pop. And it's different from the Panthers because we've seen them use the Panther logo so many different times, so many different Panther logos in the past. And this is a really good logo for the team. I know it doesn't have anything to do with Panthers, but you see this logo, you instantly know it's the Florida Panthers. It's recognizable. So I have to give the Panthers a pat on the back. Another excellent job. I love this jersey. I think it's one of the top ones of this year. So great job for the Panthers. Penguins are another team I really love. Look, I know a lot of people don't love Robo Penguin, as it's called. I was just terrified that this was just going to be another gin and juice uniform. Again, I think that's a solid uniform, but it's basically Pittsburgh in with the slanted text, which is fine. But I really love this logo. I think it's an underrated logo for the Penguins. I think part of the problem, though, is the old jersey had all the details. It had the gradient fade on the front shifting from the yellow to the gray. there was a lot of noise on those jerseys. So it's nice to see this logo just on a simple jersey. And I've always argued, like, yes, the skating penguin is the best logo for the Penguins, but I always felt like this was a solid second logo. Like, this should be the shoulder yoke, at least on a lot of the jerseys. So I'm glad to see this logo back. So I give this an A. It's cleaning up a classic, and it's bringing back a logo that has a deep history with this franchise and that is instantly recognizable. So well done for Pittsburgh. So we're going with 3 A's. And look, you might think I'd be giving an A here. I love the Kings uniforms. I love the colors, but look, I got to give this a B. And it's very simple. I love these jerseys. I love this logo. I'm one of those people that think that the purple and gold should be the primary colors for the Kings just because it would stand out so much. But I really feel like this would be an A if the jersey was gold or purple. I believe the first ones were gold, and we've seen the purple, but those colors just pop so much. Look, on a white jersey, they're fine. They're nice accents, but those colors really are bold and they're really great, and you don't see them much in hockey. So I love this jersey. I love the concept, but once again, it's one of these jerseys. It's close. Like, I want to give it an A, but I feel like it's just a tweak or two away from being really special. Minnesota, I give this a B. I actually feel like Minnesota, when they go to these colors, and I'm kind of curious to see if we'll see this eventually, where they kind of go with the North Stars colors a little bit more, maybe more yellow and green with the jerseys and logos, with maybe just red as an accent color. I mean, it seems like over the years they've kind of shifted away from the red and they've put it down a little bit more. Look, especially on the jersey, I love the yellow on this jersey because one of the problems with the original Wild logo is there were so many colors on it. It was hard to see. Here, it's easy to see the scene basically, and it looks like it's supposed to. A forest with a stream going through it and the night sky. Unbelievable and well done. I think this is a great looking jersey, and I think it's really sharp. And I actually think in some ways it's better than some of their current uniforms. I know they won't fully go back to this because they want to incorporate the current Wild logo. But look, I understand people compare this to the Subway, but these are nice colors. They pop really well. I love the logo, and I love the connection to the North Stars heritage. So really well done for the Wild, and it's a uniform I am looking forward to see. The Canadians are tricky because this is the first time they've worn baby blue. Now, the reason they're doing this is it's to honor the Montreal Expos. And I think this is actually a creative idea. If you are a franchise that maybe doesn't have a deep history with uniforms, maybe you can look to your city for inspiration. So I've seen Colorado use the Colorado flag for an example. So if you're a team that's really struggling, I think this is a good idea to either look at sports teams that are defunct in your area that have a deep connection with the area, or colors that represent your states. And with all that being said, I think that this is just okay. I give it a C. Yes, people are going to joke it's just because it's got the C on the front. But the reason I want to give this a little bit more is I just feel it needs red. Like, it needs red for the accent. Like, instead of the white accent like you see in between the stripes, if it was red, I think this jersey would just pop a little bit more. It just feels a little bit dull. Like, it needs a little bit more bright color in there. So for that reason, I think it's a solid jersey. I think C's a good grade for it. It's not bad. Like, this is, to me, if you get a C on this, it's a good grade. Like, it's a good jersey. Like, D and F basically is bad jersey. So even if it's a C, I still think it's a good jersey and deserves to be worn. So overall, not bad. And I do like the Expos tie-in. Nashville. Look, I got to give this a D. And I understand where I've said on this list where I want to see teams incorporate logos from their past. But the problem with this jersey is there's just so many little issues that I have. First, I hate the Nashville script, like right underneath the collar that you see above the logo. This is a logo that really was not a great logo. But the problem is, if you were going to bring back this logo, bring back the mustard jersey it was synonymous with. So it's kind of weird to see it on the yellow. And I feel like there's better options the Predators could have done despite their short history. I mean, they have a great alternate logo, which is the skull. I think that could have looked cool on the jersey. The other thing, too, is they wear yellow all the time now. Like, I would like to see them go back to their original jerseys when they first started, where they had like that deep blue and that metallic silver. I think that could have been good. So if they put this on that jersey, I think it could have worked. I would have liked to see more blue because again, the Predators wear so much yellow. It's such a prime. It's basically their identity at home now. So I would have liked to seen a little bit different color. I mean, I would like either the skull logo or the original logo. I think the original logo is still really good. Now, the current logo is a playoff of that, but it would be nice to see it again. This logo could still be used. I just feel like if they were going to use it, do it on a different jersey, either on the mustard yellow or the blue. So, look, there's a lot of reasons, and I give Nashville a lot of credit, but this just feels like a uniform where they had the right idea. I just don't think they got the right execution with this one. New Jersey. So, like I said earlier in this list, there's been some jerseys that overlapped. So, of course, Colorado moved to New Jersey to become the Devils. Now, I do think this is fine, and it's cool to see the Devils in different colors. But the problem I have is if Colorado's going to do it this year, I don't think the Devils should have done it this year. And the problem too is I think a lot of Devils fans want to see a little bit of a change up, which is either the Christmas colors again, or I get that they have the black jersey, but that jersey I think is terrible. If they could have maybe done a black reverse retro with tweaks to it, like maybe done this on a black jersey with the red and the yellow to make it kind of stand out a little bit more, I think could have worked. And the other thing too is with the crest, I would have liked to see maybe yellow as the backdrop in between the circle, between the N and the J. I think that could have made the jersey pop a little bit and really distinguish the logo. So I have to give this a D. I think overall it's a C, but I'm downgrading this to a D because, again, it's copying from the Colorado team. It's copying from that franchise. And look, I get that they both have those roots in Colorado, but it's one of those things where like Detroit and Chicago, New Jersey and Colorado should have at least talked to each other and said, this is what we're doing. Because it just seems a little bit lazy to me. Maybe I'm being a little too harsh, but look, it's just like we're seeing Colorado do almost the exact same thing. So that takes away from this jersey. The Rangers. I love the Liberty logo, and I have to give this an A. So the last time they did this in the reverse retro, I actually didn't love the jersey for a couple of reasons. Yes, I love that they went back to the navy, but I didn't love that they didn't have the red, and you can see the red shoulder sleeves. And that's one of my favorite things about those jerseys is it had the most red on a Rangers jersey. Like the red really was great accent, really helped it pop. And on this royal blue, that red helps this jersey pop even a little bit more. They've alternated too because they used to have those New York Rangers logo shoulder yokes, which was weird. It had like the broken top of the shield for some reason. It was like a jagged edge. I don't know why they did that, but that was on the other reverse retro. This one they kept clean with the shoulders. I'm partial to, I also love the shield. I love to see the shield on the chest. I love the 11 Winter Classic, the cream color one with the rounded shield. I thought that was a great jersey, and some parts of me wants to see that. But I feel like the New York Rangers Liberty logo is one of the more underrated jerseys and logos in hockey that was away for far too long. So anytime I can see it on a jersey, I'm going to be happy. So the Rangers did an unbelievable job bringing back a true classic. And another team is bringing this back. So I know this, how you feel about this jersey will be interesting. If you're a hockey fan like me that grew up in the 90s, you love this. If you're a diehard Islander fan, you might absolutely hate this. But I'm glad they brought back the Fisherman logo. And look, I understand for a lot of Islanders fans, this was during a really bad time in their franchise's history. Now, I have seen complaints that there's not a lot of teal. Now, they do have the wavy numbers on the back and the wavy stripe on the bottom, but they have subdued the teal. You can see it in the wave on the logo and some accents, but they don't have the teal bottom. A part of me wanted to see the teal, but I also understand it, and I kind of like the logo better now without all that extra coloring. They've simplified the logo, so it's basically the dark blue coat with the orange accents. So the logo actually looks, I think, better in this color scheme. It fits the jersey really well. And it gives the Islanders a unique look. Like the last time, it just felt lazy. They just darkened the jersey and went into this. And this is something that this reverse retro is great about. And this is why I love the program. And I have to give it an A because this gives an opportunity for a new generation to see designs. And even if they were bad, it shows you what teams were thinking about, certain identities in a team's history. And it allows people to see a logo sanitized in almost a bit. I think that this is a better version of the logo. And I feel like this is a better uniform that's on than was previously. So I have to give the Islanders a lot of credit. They did it. We were begging, we were screaming, we were pounding the desk. But after all that, they brought back the fishermen. Well done. Hook, line, and sinker for the New York Islanders. For the Senators, I almost want to just give them an F, but I'll give them a D. It just feels like the Senators are a weird team. They can never seem to decide on their identity, whether it's the 3D logo. I would have liked to see them even try. They had a really cool, if you Google it, the Ottawa Senators logo when they first did it, it was almost basically a play on the word Ottawa. I think that would have been cool because even though the logo was never used, it was done in the promotional art. I think that could have been a cool callback. So I just have a feeling I would have liked to see him maybe try and mix up the colors a little bit. Part of the problem too with the Senators or the reverse retro program too is they've changed their jerseys so much. They've tweaked the jerseys so much over the years. Like the only thing that feels different is when they had those Sens jerseys that just said Sens across the front. Maybe they could have brought that back and had Ottawa on the front instead. But overall, I just feel like if you're going to do something, do it outside the box. And this just felt really safe and conservative. I think that's pretty much sums it up. Look, the Flyers are a tough team because the logos, you're not going to change that logo. You can only do so many different orange and black jerseys. Could they maybe done like a multi-stripe jersey? Sure. Could they maybe tweaked it? I almost would like to see in the mid-2000s, they had a Flyer logo where they did like silver accents to make it a 3D logo. If they could have done that, I think that would have helped. But look, it's a sharp jersey. Yes, it's a fine jersey. But really for this program, it just doesn't do much different. Maybe there was some concept art, or maybe even for this team, I know this is a stretch because it's not technically in their history, but we've seen teams like embrace the 90s character. Like, wouldn't it be funny if like the jersey had like a skating gritty on the jersey wearing a Flyers jersey? That could be something that could have been unique, could have been different, or maybe even done like orange fur along like the bottom trim or something just to give you something a little bit different, like the gritty uniform. But as is, I think it's just kind of boring, and I think this will just be a forgettable uniform. And it's unfortunate because it's an unforgettable logo for an unforgettable franchise. The Sharks, so they took their inspiration from the California Golden Seals. Look, I think it's a B. I love that they've gone back to their retro colors this year. I think those are great. And look, like this is just simple. It's different. It's unique. And it does play homage to another team in the area before they got there. It's just weird. Like the Seals jerseys have never been great. Like their logo was unique, but just their jersey would just had seals on the front. It's just kind of boring. Like, look, in the spirit of this, it probably should be an A, but it just kind of looks boring with the script on the front. Like it's a good jersey. I think it fits the program really well, but it's just lacking a little something. Like if you disagree with me, comment below, but I just feel like it's a really good jersey, nice for the program, but doesn't really move the needle too much for me. Kraken, I get what they're doing. They're doing the stripes from the Seattle Metropolitans. I would have liked to see maybe them use more of the red color in this. But the other thing too is I think they could have done something a little bit different. They could have done like the S within like the crest, like the Metropolitans did initially. Or they could have done like their third logo is really good with the Space Needle and the anchor. Like that could have been good. Like you saw Vegas utilize that for theirs in the previous reverse retro. So I would have liked to see them maybe use the Space Needle a little bit. I do like the accent of the seafoam blue is really nice. And look, I get it's very tough for a franchise that's basically in its second season, but there is some inspiration there. In terms of the colors. But the other thing too is I would be curious in the future if they do this again is could Seattle take inspiration from other teams? Like could they maybe take something from like the Sonics history, like the colors like green and yellow maybe for a game or add the green for the Sonics or the Seahawks with their fluorescent green, like could that become an accent color or a jersey for one game so it pays history to the city of Seattle? Overall, it's not bad. Like, look, I think it's average. I think it's a good jersey. It's different, but I would have liked to see maybe a different logo, some different tweaks. It's okay. It'll get the job done at least for Seattle. St. Louis, I love them, man. I like the classic logo, the baby blue, the bright yellow. Like, you cannot miss this jersey. It's basically one of the first similar style jerseys that they ever wore. This baby's beautiful. They've worn the blue so much to see them in a different color is going to be great. This is going to be a color that's going to pop on the ice. And you can maybe in case that could this maybe be one of the best jerseys in their franchise's history. I would even go that far. Gorgeous jersey, classic, different, beautifully well done. Hats off to you, St. Louis. This is a beauty, and I think we're going to be one of the best sellers of this program. Tampa Bay paying homage to their original third jersey, the Storm jersey. So I like what they've done here. I know some people hate this jersey, but I actually think they've made it more subtle. So I have to give this an A. Now, I know this isn't a jersey for everyone, but they took a jersey that didn't work before, and I do think they made it better. Now, there's still a lot going on. The lightning's on the sleeve, I think, is a lot. But overall, the original jersey was blue, so they did rain and white, and it really stood out and looked really weird. But on the white jersey with the blue and the gray, it's more subtle, the rain in the background. I don't think it's as noticeable. So I do like that they're remixing the past and they're taking a classic jersey that didn't necessarily work, that wasn't well received, and they've done a job of trying to revitalize that. So that's the spirit of this whole program, which I love. Unbelievable job in Tampa Bay. I think they did a great job. Toronto. Look, it's fine. It is what it is. I mean, Toronto, I know they don't want to break the mold too much, but they have some really, really old logos. I know they don't want to go too much because they're going to bring back the St. Pat's alternates this year, but I know they did have a red leaf one year with red accents. That could have been something different, maybe a little bit more silver with the leaf, like do a blue and silver jersey. That could be something different, just to be different. Or maybe do something that has more of a history with the city of Toronto necessarily than just the Maple Leafs in terms of the color palette. But it just like you can't tell this is a reverse retro jersey, and that's really probably the problem with it. Canucks. Look, I love that they're bringing back the lumberjack. I love the different color, like the darker blue. This is a logo that's really distinctive. You can't mistake the franchise. And I understand that they're probably going to bring back the skate. I think as an alternate this year. But this is a team that we saw them bring back the Orca. So it's nice to see them bring back the lumberjack. I give this an A. I think this is a great jersey. I think this is going to be a great seller. And it pays to their deep history. So it's simple. The colors look great. I think it's going to look really good on the ice, and it's got a really cool logo. Vegas. And the Vegas jersey is weird because the Vegas jersey actually it's a glow in the dark jersey. So this almost feels like it's going to be a more popular selling jersey than maybe on the ice because in black light the Vegas the crest the Vegas diagonal glows, and there's a lot I like about this jersey. And I have to give Vegas credit because they don't have a history. So they haven't had a black jersey. The gold and the red really pop. I'm kind of curious. I would have liked them to maybe done a sign motif logo, like a logo that looked like the Vegas sign or just said Vegas with the Vegas sign and like gold on the chest. Look, I get I do love the font that they use on the jerseys, but we've seen this with Pittsburgh, Colorado, so many teams. It just feels like we can't come up with an idea. We'll just do our name and diagonal across the chest. So that's what's keeping from being an A. I could they've maybe done like one of the prototype logos that they never used. Could they've maybe done a tweak on the Knight logo? I almost feel like could they've done just like a glow in the dark like Knight helmet. Like you look at the white scripture that they have. I almost feel like that would have been cool if they just did a giant white Knight head. Now it might not match the jersey, but that thing could have been a good selling point with the gold accent. Like I almost feel like that would look better, or if they did like a swords. But even me, like I feel like if they could do like something with Vegas, like the Vegas sign, like it's like it's got that unique shape, the Vegas sign on the strip. If they could have maybe tweaked that with the logo and the team's colors, like that could have been the logo and could have been better. But I have to give Vegas credit for not having a deep history. I think this was a sharp jersey. I feel this is going to be a great seller just because of the little nuances within it. But overall, I think it's a solid jersey. And but I just again, I can't give it an A because I think it's just missing a couple ingredients. Now, this baby is a beaut. I think that this might be my favorite because I love the Screaming Eagle logo. I think it's actually the Capitals' best logo. I think that this should be their normal logo. And I actually do like, I might be in the minority on this, but I do like this color scheme. Like, I love the 90s Capitals when they had the dark blue, the bronzish gold, and the black because it had like the capital colors on it. It was different. It had like the DC colors. And look, I understand that Washington, D.C. is the capital of this country. So you think red, white, and blue. But there's also so many teams that have red, white, and blue as their color scheme. There's so many other teams that it just kind of gets lost. And look, I don't love the Capitals jerseys. I think they're okay. But I personally, maybe it's just because of my generation, I love these jerseys. I love this logo. I think this is their best logo. I really think this is their best logo. And it also combines one of my favorite jerseys. I love their Capitals alternate jersey, which had like the capital with the two hockey sticks. That combines this into this. This combines their blue road with that black alternate. And it's a solid one. Like when I think of the Capitals, to be honest with you, I think of this jersey. When I think of Ovechkin when he first took the ice, this is the logo that he wore on his chest. Like when I think of the Capitals, I might be wrong. I know a lot of people have followed that franchise forever, but I don't think of like the current script jerseys. The Eagle jersey is the one I think of, and I think this is their best logo. And I kind of wish they'd go back to this blue and gold color scheme. No other team really has this combo, and it would really help them stay on the ice. So I'm really happy with this, that they brought back a absolute beauty. Winnipeg. So I have a lot of thoughts on Winnipeg. Winnipeg is tricky. Now, they did do a better job than last time. Last time was awful. But this jersey to me, it's missing. Like their heritage jerseys are beautiful when they do the navy and the red. See, I almost feel like, and I'm curious if they can't use the red, but I would like to see more of that more of that color, because again, like I know they've seen the baby blue in the navy, but as we've gone through this list, how many teams have done the baby blue color this year? A lot have gone to that, and because so many teams have gone to that, this kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Like I would have liked to see like a bright red jersey. I think the red jersey on the ice would look really cool for the Jets. It's a color they've never worn, but it's one of their original colors. So I think it could have been a little bit different. So I get that. And I do know I say I like to see the old logos. I'm glad to see us back, but we've also seen the Jets gone back to this with their heritage jersey that they wear a couple times a year. So look, it's better than last time, but overall, I think it could have been a little bit better, but I guess it's improvement over last time when I thought that they might have had the worst one. But again, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. What was your favorite reverse retro jersey? Which ones did you love? Which ones did you hate? And I'd also love to get your feedback. What logos that weren't used this time around would you like to see used next time? You know, I'm a huge Hartford Whalers fan. I'll never say no to that logo unless it's in the red and black. Don't you dare do that. But Could there be other logos that were omitted? I talked about a couple on here, but was there some I missed? Please let me know in the comments below what you think, your thoughts on this reverse retro program, and what jerseys do you want to see back on the ice in the NHL one day. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining our channel. If you'd like more content like this, hit that subscribe button, give us a comment, tell us what you'd like to see. I'd love to hear what content you'd like us to provide you. Do you want more hockey content? Do you want more uniform content? Let us know. But again, thank you so much for joining us here on this live stream as we've gone over this year's reverse retros for the NHL. We'll see you next time here on Rich Sports Talk. Thank you so much for joining us here today.